Okay.
I don't know well, how much material you have covered, but I'm thinking it could be useful to at least show a standard protocol setup.
Okay. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do a
Yeah,
standard protocol set up
yeah.
on me?
Even if we
Okay.
don't go the whole way through, because which we don't
Okay.
have the time for, but I think people, might find this useful. So, I mean, obviously, this is very out of context because we will assume that I have taken some history and rapport building with Mark and have tapped in his resources and all of that, and gotten a sense of what it is that we're working on. So, Mark, whether it's real or just role played, is there a specific target that is coming up for you right now that you'd like to work on for this demo?
Let me think. Uh, a past target or a present target? Let me think.
I'm
You
game
go.
to work with either, so you
Yeah.
tell me.
Uh, okay, I've got one. It's finishing my day,
Okay.
um, and I've been on the screen
Mm-hmm.
for 12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife and daughter are out there, and there's probably a little bit of guilt,
Mm-hmm.
bit of awkwardness. I've yet again, workaholism.
Yeah.
I've been at it for a long time, so I come out slightly ambivalent, thinking, "Whoop,
Yeah.
what's the response going to
So,
be?"
as you would know in a traditional conceptualization, I might do an affect bridge or float this back, but we'll just for the purpose of setup, work with this as a present prong target. So,
Good.
Mark, when you bring up that target you just described of finishing your day, is there an image or any other sensory channel that represents the worst part of it?
Yeah, it's coming out. It's opening my door here and going
Mm-hmm.
out into the hallway with a little bit of apprehension about how I'm going to be met.
Okay. And when you bring up that image, is there a negative belief or negative cognition about yourself that goes along with it?
Uh, it, I'm uncaring.
Okay.
I'm selfish.
Okay. So holding the two, I'm uncaring or I'm selfish, does one have more charge than the other?
Probably go with the I'm selfish for processing.
Okay. And is there a preferred cognition that you'd like to believe instead of I'm selfish?
I can strike an appropriate balance.
Okay. And in this moment, when you bring up that image or worst part, how true does that positive cognition, I can strike an appropriate balance, feel to you right now, or on a scale of 1 to 7, if 1 is completely false and 7 is completely true?
The interesting thing is that it's a split second moment because it becomes true 3 seconds later, and it's
Mm,
true before I step out of the office.
okay,
But for that split second moment, it's probably a 4.
okay. So when you bring up that image together with the negative belief that I'm selfish, what emotions are there for you right now?
Uh, guilt,
Okay.
guilt. Yep.
So when you bring up that image, the negative belief that I am selfish and those emotions of guilt, where would you rate the level of distress overall in this moment on a scale of 0 to 10? If 0 is no distress or neutral, and 10 is the worst you can imagine.
In that moment, I'm probably feeling it at about a 3 now as I connect with that
Okay.
moment. But in that moment, it's probably for that split second moment, it's probably closer to a 7.
Okay. Okay. And in that split second moment you're honing in on, where's the body sensation or what do you notice in your
Yeah,
body?
I think that's solar plexus. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's do the setup here. So I'd like you, Mark, to keep holding that image or how you're seeing that image, that moment right now, together with the negative belief of I'm selfish and that body sensation you just described. We've established we're doing butterfly tap.
Hmm.
And notice whatever you notice as you commence with a set of tapping.
Okay.
Let's give that a pause right now. Take a breath.
Yep.
What are you noticing now, Mark?
Yeah, it's sort of the split second moment is extending forward and back, and in context.
So see what you're doing with your hands there? Can you keep doing that for me?
Yep.
Close your eyes if it's comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and just go with that till that feels complete.
Yes, it's going to go off camera.
That's fine with me. I trust your hands are still there.
Yeah, yeah, I've still got them. Gosh, that's lovely. Wow. That's a beautiful intuitive response. I'm sort of waving.
Yeah, go with that.
I'm I'm embracing and waving.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a sense of, hey, it's been a journey
Yeah,
and I'm okay. This is a dance. It's a left-right dance.
keep going with that.
Yeah. So my hands are going sort of like this, and they're right out there, and they're stretching right out to sort of embrace, yeah, to embrace my town, the coastline here, the hills behind, the bluebells. That's the walk that people can see on screen at the moment. That's a walk.
Mm,
I took that photograph just a few days ago. Bluebells. I'm going to bring it back in again.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, just go with that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Wow.
What are you
Yeah.
noticing now, Mark? You could either pause or keep tapping.
Yeah. Just pausing. I feel such love for my wife and daughter who
Let's
are
go
out
with it.
there.
Yeah, go with that
Such,
love.
such tenderness, such gratitude. Hmm. Real settling in my torso, in my core.
Yeah, notice that.
Yep. That feels pretty good.
Beautiful. So when that feels complete, take a pause, take another breath if you would.
Yep.
And what are you noticing now?
Yeah, it's good. Kind of
All right.
integration.
Yeah. Well, let's check with target then.
Yep.
So when you go back to the target where we began, what are you noticing about it now?
There's a flow. There's
Hmm.
a continuity. There isn't that jagged moment. There's a
Hmm.
being here on my chair with my kit and gear. There's the opening of the door, and there's a flow, a move
Hmm.
through that space, that transitional space between work, me, and relationship
Beautiful.
out there. And it feels like it's joined up. Yeah.
And in this moment, would you rate any distress with it on a scale
No,
of 0 to 10?
it's a zero. It feels good. That's good.
And when we began, what you said you would like to believe instead is I can strike an appropriate balance. Does that still fit, or is there a cognition that fits better?
I do strike an appropriate balance.
Yeah. So 1 to 7, where would you rate the level of truth with that in this moment?
It's an ecologically valid 6.5.
Okay, let's go with that. Let's tap it. It's an ecologically valid 6.5. I'm going to ask you though, what may keep it from being a 7? I'm not going to badger you, but I think it's worth asking the question.
I never accept anything less than a 7 either.
Okay, so go with that. I'll use your own inner weave against you.
Completely with you. Completely. Yeah, okay. Okay.
What are you getting
Interesting.
now, Mark? Yeah.
There's a there's a kind of familiarity in the guilt. There's an old story running there. It's sort of safer to be guilty because then I'm still in control.
Can you go with that?
Then I can determine how this interaction unfolds because if I hold on to my guilt, even a smidgen of, I can indulge myself in that. It's actually what I need to do is embrace both the work and the relationship and the context, the house and the study.
Keep going with that.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, good.
So take a pause.
Yeah.
And again, in this moment, when you bring up I can strike an appropriate balance, 1 to 7, where would you rate it?
I both can and I do. I'm going to
Okay.
put can and do in there,
Yeah.
and it's a 7. And
Okay. So
and it's a realistic 7.
great. And normally I would do a separate tap with that, but let's just get the body scan in here to save time.
Yeah,
When you scan your body head to toe, what are you noticing right now?
there's a warmth in my heart, just under the heart there. It's just in
So
here. Warmth.
let's go with that warmth in the heart together with I can and do strike an appropriate balance
And you know what? I'm going to tap low
and the
down.
original target. Yeah, go with that. I love that intuitive response, as you would say.
It feels good. Yeah, I'm tapping on my sort of viscera, where
Yes.
the
Love
vagus
it.
nerve goes to. Yeah,
Love it.
it feels supportive.
Yeah.
Never done that before. Interesting. Clients have never done that before, but it felt like the right thing to do.
You got it.
Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Good. And so you know the drill, closure. Well, yeah, so I'll turn it over back to you now as the guide of the course. Thank you
Yeah.
for letting me do that work with you.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie. That was lovely.
And a little
Revenge
and a
or
little recompense.
recompense? Is it?
Revenge is
It
the
wasn't
best term called.
revenge at all.
Just a little commentary I want to give to the whole group about something
Yeah.
that I did. If you notice the client naturally doing their own bilateral movement somehow, like Mark did there, go with it. Have them literally go with their own
That was
bilateral movement.
BLS, wasn't it? It was
You see
absolutely
it,
BLS.
you see it happen all the time. One of my another great examples of that is a client who said, I feel like my father's desires for my life are pulling me this way and my
I reach
desires
up
for
on
my
one
life are
hand and
pulling
the
me
other
this way.
hand.
So go
Yeah.
with that. Go with
And it's
that.
the office, it's my study here in this room,
Mhm.
and it's my life out there,
Yep.
it's my family out there, it's my work in here, and it's about a
Mhm.
balance, it's about a flow, it's about both and. Yep.
And that was a beautiful example to me of a very dancing type intervention we went
Totally.
with. So I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
And beautifully, totally. In fact, the way you did that, Jamie, I'm not sure I would have done that quite in the same way online, partly because I'm in my own home. The
Mhm.
activation is physically in the where I am. Of course, with clients, we're working with them in their own home,
Mhm.
often with activation in their relationships, in their own sense of, struggle sometimes between where the time they're taking to do the therapy and their commitments
Mhm.
out to the family, to the children, to the wife, whatever, to their workplace. So there's something quite intimate and real and very personal
Yeah,
about working online with people in their own home.
for sure.
So thank you for that, Jamie. That's beautifully illustrated.